You all know that this is not a conspiracy theory program. I am not particularly conspiratorial by my nature. So today I have to tell you that the Nevada state election, the Nevada Democratic Party, has hired a former Pete Buttigieg staffer after Buttigieg behaved weirdly when it came to the Iowa caucus. Now, I am not saying that this is part of a concerted effort for Pete Buttigieg to steal the Nevada caucus. I am telling you that it's evidence of the way too incestuous nature of politics in the United States and how the same people keep showing up in too many places for my comfort. And this is a story in that it is getting a lot of attention, and we have to figure out what it is that is and is not going on. I will tell you what I know. I will tell you what the Nevada State Democratic Party has said, and then you tell me what you think. The Nevada Democratic Party hired a former paid Pete Buttigieg organizer to be their voter protection director. Her name is Emily Goldman. When you looked at her LinkedIn page yesterday, you saw that she started a job this month as voter protection director for the Nevada State Democratic Party. Her last job until starting this one, up to and including this month, was organizer for Pete Buttigieg's campaign, Pete for America. This already just doesn't look great, given the theories that are floating around about the connections between Pete's campaign and the Iowa caucus and the developer of the app that was used to transmit results. Even without going conspiratorial the way some people are doing, it just doesn't look good. People noticed this yesterday, and it started to get attention yesterday, and it didn't look good to a lot of people. Emily Goldman also tweeted late last week, some personal professional news. I've joined the Nevada State Democratic Party as their voter protection director. DM me if you're interested in volunteering to help us ensure that every voter is able to get the assistance they need. As soon as this blew up, Emily Goldman has locked her Twitter account. You now have to, she has to accept you in order for you to see her tweets, and also completely removed her employment history from her LinkedIn altogether. And if you go now and look at her LinkedIn profile, there is no employment history. It just skips right to her educational history, no record of working for Pete, and then the Nevada Democratic Party. No matter what you think about nefarious forces working behind the scenes to steal the election in Nevada for Pete Buttigieg, this just looks bad. And of course, the most likely explanation for her scrubbing the LinkedIn and then making her Twitter private is that she's getting harassed and bullied. That to me makes much more sense than she thinks that by doing that, this controversy is going to go away, because clearly it's not. So let me be like extra crystal clear. I think if you have a good plan to steal the Nevada caucuses for Pete Buttigieg, you don't have to hire people who worked for him to go and work for the party in Nevada. You do it in a more sophisticated way with technology or with people whose work history wouldn't directly point to Pete Buttigieg. Anyone clever enough to steal the caucus wouldn't have to resort to such an obvious attention-grabbing tactic in order to steal the Nevada caucus. The Nevada Democratic Party was asked about this. They put out a statement saying that Emily Goldman's position is going to handle planning for the general election in November, and that she has no decision-making role in the upcoming caucuses on February 22nd. And even if she did, they say there's no one person in a role like this who could actually affect or change the results. That's their position. Another point to mention is that if you actually want to steal the election with dirty tricks, it's true that even if she were involved in the caucuses on the 22nd, the voter protection director probably isn't the person you need, since they are unlikely to actually be able to mess with vote totals or do the things that are being alleged were done in Iowa by the people who believe those theories. But it just looks terrible. And it's more about the fluidity with which people move between working for candidates and the party, which is actually not unusual. People move all the time between candidates and party. Think back to the 2016 Republican primary into the general election. Sean Spicer was RNC, I believe it was communications director or something, during the Republican primary. He moved very swiftly into voting for Donald Trump. It happens both ways. But when the Democratic Party nationally has been accused in 2016 and now in 2020 of working to help certain candidates at the expense of others, people are obviously going to react this way and, of course, are going to be more suspicious. Then you add to this that Nevada was scheduled to use the exact same app that imploded in Iowa for their upcoming caucus, but have since changed their minds, and things look weird, and one could surmise motive to figure out other ways to take control of the caucus, given that the app will not be used. So I understand why people are flipping out. The reality is there's lots of DNC people and party people working for Biden and vice versa. Anybody with establishment connections is likely to have the employment fluidity going on. Tell me what you believe. And I think it's really important. You know, once we start saying not that the DNC has a preference, which obviously they do, and we talked about in 2016, once we start saying there is a conspiracy to manipulate vote totals, we are crossing a line that is a very significant line to be crossing. And so what I want to hear from you is what you make of this. Is this the incestuous nature of party politics in the United States? Is it more nefarious? Let me know. I'm on Twitter at @dpakman. The show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. And boy, do we have a full one for you today.